Hi, it's Caitlin Jenkins here, the Family Law Vlogger, and today's vlog is part of a series of vlogs about the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic on family law. So today's vlog is particularly focusing on divorce process and whether your divorce process can still be completed, whether it can still go through despite the situation with COVID-19. I should say at the outset that the focus of this vlog is on divorce proceedings that have already started or on proceedings that has already been agreed are going to start. This vlog is not going to address in any detail at all whether now is the right time for you and your partner to divorce, or indeed what the consequences of divorce would be for you. So I'm not going to look at the impact for finances or the impact on arrangements for children, etc., some of which is already covered off in other vlogs. But if you're wanting some advice or information about those, then this is a different topic and it's not necessarily going to be covered in this vlog. So then, what is the situation of divorce proceedings that are either about to be commenced or have already been started, given this current situation of relative lockdown arising out of the COVID-19 situation? Well, I'm recording this vlog on the 11th of April and the situation is fast moving, and so if you're looking at this vlog much later than that, then it would be worth checking for up-to-date information. But the short answer is that yes, divorce proceedings are still going through the courts and through the administrative process that's part of the divorce proceedings, and divorces are still being concluded despite the stay at home and other measures currently in place. So how is this happening? Well, there are currently basically three ways in which divorce proceedings can be started, and all three of those ways are at least still theoretically possible at the moment. One way is for either an individual or a solicitor on behalf of the individual to send paperwork, actual divorce paperwork, into the local family district court for issuing and sending to the other person who's called the respondent. So paperwork actually being sent in. Now that still remains a possibility, but with various of the courts and some of the court offices being closed, what we're finding is that that process is taking much longer than it normally would. But it hasn't stopped altogether, but you should expect increased delays if that's the route you're going down, or if you've already had paperwork sent in on paper to a court. The other two ways are to do a divorce application online. So there are two ways of doing this. One is through solicitors. So there is a solicitors portal that some solicitors are registered for to be able to start the divorce process for their client online. And the other online way is for an individual to be able to start their divorce process themselves online through the gov.uk website. And there's a separate vlog on how you can use that website to start your divorce process if that's the route you're going down or already want to start. So all three of those routes still exist, but the two online routes, either being filed online yourself or through a solicitor, we're finding tend to be quicker. So because court staff and court judges and so on are working remotely, they can process those applications much more quickly than paper applications that are sitting in court offices for quite a long time until they can be processed. So the online applications we're finding are tending to be quicker. Turning then to the different stages in the divorce process, well, once the petition has been filed and the acknowledgement of service form has been completed and sent in or filed online by the other person, then the next stage is the application for the interim divorce decree, which is decree nisi. Now, applications for decree nisi, whether sent in on paper or sent in through the two online methods I've mentioned, are still happening. But there is one nuance, one sort of glitch that we're finding across our various different offices across the country that different courts are struggling with in relation to decree nisi. And that's because under the law, decree nisi, when it's pronounced, has to be pronounced in what's called open court. So theoretically, people can be at that appointment, and indeed sometimes the applicant for the divorce or the respondent to the divorce can turn up at that hearing and hear their decree nisi pronounced as part of a list of names. Now, there's no obligation on parties to go to decree nisi, and to be honest, these days very few people go to the pronouncement of decree nisi because there's no need. It's purely procedural as long as the divorce is all agreed. Sometimes there's the question about the costs of the divorce, and sometimes that's one of the reasons why people very, very rarely go to the pronouncement of decree nisi. But in any event, even though people don't tend to go, decree nisi under the rules has to be pronounced in open court. Now, at the moment, because of the stay-at-home rules and the COVID-19 lockdown rules, open courts aren't sitting very often at all. And so what we're finding is that sometimes when decree nisi are being applied for, or on other occasions when decree nisi have already been listed, so you already know the date on which it's going to be pronounced, courts are adjourning those hearings and saying we're not going to pronounce the decree nisi on that date in that court, it being open court, because we're not holding open court hearings at the moment. And so we're finding that people are often getting orders saying dates for decree nisi being adjourned to another date which hasn't yet been listed. So delays in the pronouncement of decree nisi are creeping in for understandable reasons, and that does have a knock-on effect on the financial situation, because it's only once a court has pronounced decree nisi that it has the jurisdiction to either make by consent or another order of the court the financial agreement that may have been reached. So there is a practical glitch that we're finding during these COVID-19 restrictions because of the fact that you can't pronounce decree nisi in court, and so sometimes decree nisi is being delayed. So that's the interim divorce decree, decree nisi. What's happening to the final divorce decree, decree absolute? Well, the application for decree absolute has always been a relatively quick and more administrative process, assuming the timing is right for decree absolute. And there are timescales for that, which are dealt with in other vlogs. But what we're finding is that if people send in, either on paper or apply through the online portals for decree nisi to be made absolute, that's happening relatively smoothly, albeit there's then often a bit of a hold up for the paperwork to then catch up and be sent out to the parties. Overall, therefore, despite the difficulties that are being experienced on the administrative side, yes, a divorce that's about to be commenced or a divorce that's already ongoing can be completed. It may just take longer, and it depends to some extent on the process that you've used to make the application as to how much longer it's going to take for the courts to administer it, because of difficulties with staffing levels and holding hearings in open court, etc. at the moment. As always with the family law vlog, this is only general advice and information. It isn't specific to your circumstances in particular, whether it's appropriate for you to have divorce proceedings at all and what the broader consequences of that could be for you. And if you want advice on your particular circumstances or your particular divorce process, then you should speak to a specialist family lawyer. And my details and those of the rest of the Mills and Reeve family team who are operating as normal, albeit remotely, are at the end of this vlog.